All right, Jake, thank you so much for doing the interview with us today.
Yeah, of course.
And,
Of course.
just wanted to go over your experiences and understand how, you came up with the foundation and with the mission to help young people, who have concussions and things like that. So tell us about yourself a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit about myself. And first off, yeah, thank you for wanting to sit down and do this. I think any chance I get to spread awareness is a chance that I will take for sure. And we love partnering with you guys and having you on the team. So blessed to have you guys with us, working with us. But a little bit about me. I'm 25 years old now. Grew up in the mountains in Colorado, Vail Valley to be precise. And I used to be a professional snowboarder for a while. I had a lot of head injuries. I kind of transitioned out of competitive snowboarding into the brain space a little bit, and I found myself with a nonprofit foundation that we started to improve concussion protocols for youth sports and concussion-prone sports. And the way that we do that is with a portable EEG technology that's manufactured by a company called Wavi Medical that we partnered with, that you utilize, and also with a company called Baseline Neuro that we utilize this technology for data collection and research, proof of concept research for companies that want to evaluate how their product is affecting the brain, and a few other different things that we're doing now. But yeah, that's a little bit about me, I guess.
That's awesome. What would you say are your greatest accomplishments, both on the slopes as a professional Olympic snowboarder, but also, outside with your foundation and everything else you're doing now?
Right. Biggest accomplishments. That one is definitely a big question. But I would say in the snowboarding realm, I think having just a career doing that was a big accomplishment for me. I mean, I worked really hard and always wanted to have a career as a professional in snowboarding. I always wanted an X Games medal. I was able to do that, which was incredible. That's probably the biggest accomplishment. I always wanted to go to the Olympics, which was crazy. I couldn't even believe that, I had gone there and had the opportunity to compete in the events that qualified me to do that. So that was huge.
That's awesome.
But then I think off and more in just like a life sense, biggest accomplishment would probably be to have made it through post-concussion syndrome and come out the other side better for it, better for that experience. So I think the whole process, there's a lot, it's intricate, but going through that and then coming out the other side and being able to not only find my way to different treatment modalities and to different assessments that help me through the process, but then to be able to utilize that and really maximize my recovery and just find myself in this position. I'm really grateful. So
No, that's amazing. I mean, you would be such a model and of inspiration for our patients who are struggling through this, because a lot of people that I see with post-concussion syndrome, they just feel this is it, this is the end of the road, and they're never going to have their life back. So to see that it can be done and to have actually gone through that and made it happen, that's very inspiring.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It's a big deal for me.
Yeah, I'm sure. And the fact that you're willing to share those experiences so that other people can benefit from it. Why did you stop snowboarding?
Yeah, I stopped snowboarding primarily because of head injuries, mostly because of the mental health symptoms that I was experiencing through post-concussion syndrome that I had developed through head injuries. And it just got to a point where it was so hard for me to function and be logical in my thinking and control my emotions and operate at a high level in sports as well, compete at a high level as well. So just the combination of things it got to the point where it was too much.
Yeah.
Couldn't handle it. Looking back, it's crazy because all of that was just such an invisible injury.
Yeah.
It's so hard to quantify that. But that was the reason I stopped. I also got very susceptible to head injuries. I had so many and got to the point where I didn't even have to fall. I just needed a good impact.
Yeah.
Just even landing on my feet to have symptoms. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so tell us about your half pipe injury.
Yeah. So, well, I think it was kind of a combination of a bunch of small head injuries, and every time I would get one, I never really felt like I was recovered from the last one. So they kind of just, built up, and it happens a lot. There's different ways that we train. Sometimes we'll use an airbag. Sometimes we won't. You got to, stay sharp and keep up on your tricks and make sure that you're consistent when it matters. So I would always be trying things and always be falling, and sometimes I would, smack my head a little bit harder than others. And yeah, I just did it a bunch. So
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, no, your dad is a really good friend of mine, and watching him on the on the mountain bike trails,
yeah, it makes sense.
it makes sense.
The apple doesn't fall that far.
But hey, you did it, you accomplished it. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
What are your future goals, and how do you think your own experiences as a top-level athlete will inform your missions and goals?
Well, I think for future goals, I would really like to build my company Baseline Neuro and build my foundation, Happy Healthy Brain Foundation, to provide insight and provide education and provide awareness around things that people may not have been exposed to, around the topic of head injuries, around the topic of um, different treatments that we can do and different technologies we can utilize to improve brain function. Um, and bring some of these resources into the people's hands that don't have access to it. So really, really, I think that is a powerful thing to bring this technology into the hands of these kids that can get scans, and now they can look at their brain, and if they get concussions, they can assess that. So that's kind of future goals, to just make sure that I could scan as many people as possible and get as many of these devices out there to be utilized. It's really the best thing for sports concussion recovery in terms of objective assessment. So
Sure.
one of them. I mean, there's a lot of great tools, but really this is one of them that's really completing the puzzle for the missing piece of the puzzle for concussion assessment. So
Yeah.
future goals is to just really spread awareness and help get these brain scans available for kids. And so that would be great. I think, given my experience with professional sports, I think it was a very valuable experience for me to even have these head injuries. So something I wouldn't take back if I could go back. I don't think I'd change anything, because it's brought me to the point now where I've gone through this experience and I have some insight that not everybody gets. Like you were saying, you haven't gone through the head injuries, but now I can basically take that struggle and turn it into motivation, and then
Sure.
go and try and help all these people. So
Sure.
that's one way that I can kind of translate what happened to me and some of my experience in sports and
Yeah. Yeah.
what I'm
And
doing now. So
no, that makes a lot of sense. And I think the only other thing I would add to that is, you know, spread awareness amongst medical professionals who encounter these concussions, and help them understand that there are technologies that can make them better at what they do, and take care of people.
yeah, 100%, 100%. I think there is a lot of missing knowledge. There's a lot of missing awareness around just new technology too, and new interventions for even some of the physicians nowadays. So yeah, getting awareness about that out, and then getting access and making these things available for even physicians to be able to now get this technology, get their hands on good supplements for their patients, things like that. So
Yeah, and that segues nicely into my next question, which is, tell me about your focus on supplements.
yeah, the focus on supplements is huge. Something that was brought to my attention a lot working with you, because I mean, obviously there's so many different things that you can do in terms of treatments for brain injury or even just any type of neurological condition. But supplements and nutrition, I think, is really one of those foundational pieces that really can impact how you're feeling day to day. They can impact how how you're functioning day to day, and those types of things are going to make a huge difference in terms of where you feel through the process of your recovery. I kind of did a terrible job answering that
No,
question.
no, no,
but-
no. That's great, and I agree with you. I think sometimes I have patients with concussions and post-concussion syndrome, and one of the key things I identify in them is that they're not sleeping well since the concussion.
Right.
And sleep is such an important reboot mechanism for the brain. Just fixing that one aspect, making sure they're getting 7.5, 8 hours of restorative sleep helps reboot the computer better than anything else that I can offer them. And just putting them on a supplement like melatonin or tartary to help them sleep better makes a profound difference. So I completely agree with you. I love that focus, and so that's great that you're focusing on that. Um, where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
Oh man, that's a tough one. 10 years from now, 10 years from now, I see myself still probably spreading awareness about head injuries and the things that we can do to improve that. Everything that I'm doing now, I think, just maybe at a larger scale. I would really like to have a wild number of baselines done on kids that are competing in concussion-prone sports
Yeah.
or just participating in concussion-prone sports. I think 10 years from now, ideally, there is tens of thousands of baselines done for all these kids utilizing this WABI EEG. And yeah, just, hopefully hanging out with the family, living life,
Yeah.
having around good people, around good friends,
Yeah.
continuing to build our friendship and partnership. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's hard to say what it'll be like, but
That's awesome. We have talked about, having a concussion. You've talked about having a concussion clinic as a model for other clinics
Right.
to replicate. Hopefully that comes to be. But yeah, we love collaborating with you. We admire your mission, your motivation, your focus, and I hope we continue to collaborate and do awesome things together. Thank you so much for the interview.
yeah, we will for sure. Thanks, Doc.
Yeah, absolutely.